Well, I've got some more cardboard. I've had some more deliveries from Amazon, and I want to be able to use this up. And when I cut this up to store it, I thought, well, do you know what? That looks awfully like a book. So I thought I would try and make a 3D book container. And that's going to be massively too big. So what I'm going to do is cut that down. That's going to be the spine of the book, and obviously the front cover, and then I need to build in some bits in here. So now I need to do is build in my bits here. Now I only want the lid of this to lift up here. I don't want the whole thing to open up. So what I'm going to do is put a piece of cardboard here to the height that I need. Cut this in half. But before we do that, what we'll do is curve off these ends. Get that in the middle there. That looks all fine. So we'll just cut that out because that's the bit that is going to sit in there. If I bend that across there now, then I know where that is, where that bend is. So that can go on there like that, with that bit glued to it. That'll open there like that. So I need 2 of these pieces, 1 for each end. I'll cut those out, cut one out for this front bit, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. I've got my 3 pieces cut out now, which are going to be like the leaves of the book, or the pages of the book. And now what I want to do is glue those together. I just need to make sure that they are exactly the same width, both sides. And then what I'm going to do is tape these together to start with and then glue them, because I find that's easier than messing around with a lot of glue. And that should hold there nicely like that. Before I do anything else, I'm going to try and get that as square as possible here, and then put a little bit of hot glue along those seams there. Let that dry, and that should hold that into place. So now that's glued together, this is where we're going to put this piece. It's got an equal amount of space at the side, front, and this side, so it may need just to be adjusted a little bit. I've got it square with the front, so the first piece I want to glue on is this front piece, and all I'm going to do to be able to do that is just run a bead of glue along that front bit. I've got that lined up against that front section there, so I know there's an equal distance between that, and then when I come to do the sides, I can do the sides in exactly the same way. Put that there like that, and then run my bead of glue along that and hold that in position. And then I'll do the same for this side. Got the inside of this box. We've got the lid of this box, which is going to go on there like that. And already you can see it's starting to look like a book. And now what I need to do is attach this bit up to the hinge bit, which is there. I'm going to mark with my pencil approximately where my hinge falls on here, so I don't glue too much over. There we are, so I know it comes to there. And then all I'm going to do is pop a bit of glue onto these edges here, push that in, keeping that same distance apart so it's nice and tight onto there like that. And then once that's dry, I can do the same with the other side. And now I can pull back this top, put a bit of glue on there, up to my pencil line, there, same here, bit of glue on there, up to my pencil line, which is there, bring that over, and hold that down until it's stuck. That's where my hinge will be, and that is already starting to look like a little book. I'm going to cut this bit off because I think I've decided to put some proper hinges on it rather than have the book as the hinge, because I think that might be a little bit flimsy, and in the end it will probably work its way off. So if I can just cut that off, and then I can put some proper hinges that we can see. Well, now I've decided to screw those little hinges in, what I'll need to do is reinforce underneath this with something to be able to screw them into. And I'm going to just use a piece of lolly stick here that is flush with the edge of this. Now you're not going to see this, so it doesn't matter. And all I'm going to use to put that in is a little bit of wood glue on my lolly stick like that, and line that up under there so I know that it will take the hinges, and it will, because the hinges are going to go there. Make sure it's right towards the edge, and then I'm going to put a couple of clamps on that just to hold it in place. Make sure it's got a great contact. I find that is a much more superior way, a much more secure way of doing it. I'll put one there, and that'll be enough just to get those little tiny screws something to get their little teeth into when you go to screw those hinges in, and it will make it far more secure than just pasting over them. The wooden sticks are glued on there nice and tight now, and they're not going to go anywhere. And what I need to do is cover the rest of this using some brown paper and some white PVA glue. You've seen me do this hundreds of times. All I do is put the glue on there like that, wherever I want it to be, and then fold the paper around. Now, the paper that came with Amazon this time was a little bit more rigid and less absorbent to start with. So what I did was I popped it in this pot and just give it a little bit of a spray with water, and that has softened it right off. This will give it a lot more strength as a finished box as well, and allow me to decorate the top and the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead, finish that off, and show you what I'm going to do with it next. Well, the book is all dried and I've popped the hinges on, and that hinge works lovely. And I also, while I was putting the strips of paper on, I put some twine underneath here to look like it's got that kind of spine bit on it. Now what I want to do is make this look like some pages. What I'm going to use is my good old paper mache, and this has kept so well. It's been over 6 weeks now since I made this paper mache. If you want to know how I make it, then the link for that will come up at the end. And all I'm going to do is pop some of that on. Oh, by the way, it also works really well in moulds. And I know that because I did a little short on it. It's the first short I've ever done. And it come out brilliant. A thin layer, because I want this to dry fairly quickly. I would like this to dry really in a couple of hours. Onto the edges of this book where the pages would be. And this stuff dries like concrete. It really does. And now that's all on there, all the sides, as you can see. I'll tell you what, I'll pop the recipe that I used for this clay on my website in the free members area. And then you can just download it if you want to. What I want to do is just put some kind of ideas of pages in there. I don't want it to look like they're perfect pages. I just want to give it the concept of some pages. I'm using the edge of my knife, go through there. Now I want this to look like quite an old rustic book. And I'll do the same on the front and the other side, and then I'll let that dry, and then I'll show you how I'm going to finish it off. I'm quite excited about how I'm going to finish it off, because it's a different way than I've ever done it before. We'll see how it comes out. Well, this has been on here a couple of hours, and it's nearly dry. There's just a couple of damp patches on here. But before I go ahead and do anything else, what I want to do is put the holes in ready for the leather straps. Now, I've cut some leather straps. These aren't real leather, it's just faux leather that I've got hanging around. And I want these to go on here like that, as if they're holding the book down. And I've got these little, really, they're knobs for dolls' houses and things. They're really useful. I use them a lot. And I want to put one of those on here, and then this will go through it. All I need to do now is decide where I'm going to put them. I am going to try and do these ones as equal as I possibly can, because I think that's going to be where everybody is looking. And I'm using my tool that takes out the little holes. It's a brilliant little tool. All I need to do is push down on that, and that will drill me out a nice little hole, look. And now we've got 2 little holes, and then these will go onto there. Yep, they will. And that one will fit on there. Well, I'm ready to decorate now, and what I'm going to do is use some wood dye on it. Now, I don't know how it's going to come out. I've chosen a deep mahogany. Now, I don't know if it's going to absorb into this or what it's going to do. I think it could look quite nice, but we will see. If I don't like it, then all I have to do is give it a quick sand and then repaint it. So it's not a major issue. I quite like the patchwork finish to it, and I also think it will go nice with the leather. And I'm putting it on quite heavy. It gives it a bit more texture. Well, that's come out quite well. What I'm going to do is give it another coat on top of that, doing exactly the same techniques, allowing those brush marks to stay in there. This is all dried, and I'm thrilled with the way it's come out. I think it's really come out looking good. I painted the sides and then put a little bit of darker over it as well to make it look a little bit more rustic. It's now a case of putting on the final trim, and I'm going to be doing that using my hot glue gun, because I think the hot glue gun will work really well for this. And then I'm going to do the finishing touches, but I'm also going to put on these little corners that I have, both top and bottom. Put a little bit of hot glue in then and push them right the way down. And the best way for me to do this bit is to put these on, and then I can turn that over, and I know exactly where I need to put them. Well, that glue should be nice and hot now. I'm going to pop a little strip there, push that down. That will hold on there remarkably well. And then when I want to take this off, I just have to pull that tight a little bit like that, and then that'll open. The same for this one. And then that'll open as well. And now what I'm going to do is take a baby wipe and just rub over this and remove onto some of these bits where the natural wear would be, this stain. Again on the spine here and on these edges. And that's giving it quite a nice antique look. And what I'm going to do is wax it. Now, I'm going to do the back first, because if I don't like it, that's easier to cover up. And this is just a Bees furniture wax. Put it on like so, all over. That should give it a bit of a shine. It'll also protect it and make it quite waterproof. And I'm liking that. And then I can just buff that up as soon as that is soaked in there and dried up. Oh, I'm so pleased with this. And all this just came from seeing how that piece of card folded. The book's all finished. I love it. I think putting the wax on it has really given it that natural kind of shine. There's the spine, there's the back, and there's the top and front. What do you think? I'm so pleased with it. And then to open it, you just take your little tabs off, and then you've got your white inside, and you can use it for storage or do whatever you want with it, really. It was a great little make. I had so much fun making this. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd love to know what you think. It was so easy to make. Please boot that like button. It really does help my videos to get out there, and I find it really useful. It tells me what sort of projects that you like. And if you're a first-time viewer, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos going forward. I will link everything that I've used today in the description below. Take care. Enjoy your crafting. Bye.